This is something that I haven't done being here.
As a church, I don't think we've actually done anything for our neighbors. You know, we never really introduced ourselves as a church. We just kind of plopped here in the middle of nowhere, you know.
So for CK2, our goal was to create postcards and send it out to our community.
In the postcard, we asked them if they had any prayer requests, and if they did, they would drop the postcards back off to 1900, or they would email us back at herearmyprayer.jesus@gmail. Sending out a postcard and saying that we are praying for them actually is something that's more, you can say, more personal.
I think this project was a good idea to reach out to the neighbors, just because when people think about missions in general, you think about going out into the world, but I mean, for those people who can't fly out into different countries, there's also local missions, and I feel like we often overlook the people at, you know, within arm's reach. They're right there.
And we started throwing them into the mailboxes. Surprisingly, we had a few people that were outside of their doors. And for me, I ended up having this one lady who was vacuuming her car. I introduced myself and why we were doing it. And she basically said, okay. And then moved on.
And then a couple weeks later, we got back together as a TK, and we prayed for the neighbors, even though nobody replied back, but it's okay.
I feel that it is just as important as worship or ministries or any other thing that you do in church. Without prayer, I'd probably be lost. I probably would not know what to do without asking God for help, without asking for the Holy Spirit to just come in me. Because before then, I guess I didn't really care about the neighbors around us, and I think this event changed me into thinking that we're kind of intruding on their property, and most of the time they seem fine with that. And I guess it's something that we should be thankful for.
Seeing that the neighbors are in our prayers, it shows that the neighbors are not just people that we hear when the leaders tell us to be quiet or to keep it down at night. It's showing the neighbors are actually people that we can actually pray for, and that it shows neighbors that we are not just Christians inside those four walls, but beyond the four walls. And praying for neighbors shows that we are friends.
It just made me think of how very little I am of a good neighbor, because I live around here. I live 7 blocks away from church. I'm supposed to know my neighbors, but I don't. I just usually just go home, go to school, or go wherever and home. I don't say hi to my neighbors at all. After doing this project, passing out these postcards, I just realized that I should be a better neighbor. Not to just neighbors here, but to just strangers on the streets, as well as people at school and at work and wherever I'm at.
It makes me think that we should have some kind of relationship with them, because we're pretty much going to be here for a long time, and that we're most likely going to see them around. And so it's kind of good that we should be trying to communicate with them and try to build a relationship. Even though this is our first time, we can maybe try again next time, and maybe next time they'll drop something off. So yeah, one try might not be enough, maybe 2, 3 times, who knows. God will help us, and yeah, it's all in His hands.
Tonight.